I've been scrolling on TikTok just like everybody else has, and I run into these posts of Charlie Kirk debating at Cambridge University. And at first I'm thinking, okay, this is cool, whatever, it's gonna be the usual, right? Him pretty much bullying college students into submission by saying a lot of words and mixing up a lot of terms that have nothing to do with the question. But I was quite surprised. These Cambridge students and professors were schooling this man. And I'm like, finally, some people that understand that actual intelligence supersedes just speaking fast. Because that's honestly what Charlie Kirk does. And in his defense, he does know some facts. But he also blatantly lies. And that's not made up, that's literally true. I watched the dude sit there and lie, and just because he says it fast or with confidence, people take it as true. And well, a lot of the stuff he says isn't true. Charlie Kirk is also a racist and bigoted man. Just gonna say it, the dude has some racist thought processes. He has some homophobic thought processes. He has some thought processes that I think are entirely too religious to be involved in our government. Now, I'm not calling Charlie Kirk a fool. He's obviously not that. But what I am saying is that these college students absolutely schooled him. You know, the old saying goes that if you argue with the fool, especially in the same way and fashion that the fool is arguing, and a stranger walks up, they're not going to be able to tell the difference between the fool and the person who actually knows what they're talking about. Charlie Kirk pretty much exemplifies that notion to the max. The guy talks fast, he talks confidently, and that basically makes everything he says come off as true. But these Cambridge students were aware of that. These guys had obviously studied him and knew his game plan coming in. They're going to try and interrupt me. He's going to try and out-talk me. He's going to try and sound smart and confident. But really, it's just a whole bunch of garbage. Kind of reminds us of our president. But anyways, enough of that. Yeah, Charlie Kirk got schooled by these guys, man. And I think there's a couple lessons we can all learn from this. It's the fact that talking fast does not mean that someone knows something. It just means that they simply talk fast. Appearing confident doesn't mean that someone knows something. It could simply be because of the fact that they're arrogant. Charlie Kirk strikes me as a pretty smart guy. I don't think he's a terrible fool that just knows nothing. But he also strikes me as a guy who can be a little bit bigoted and a little biased, especially towards his claims. And a guy who's willing to lie and talk over people to get those points across. This is of no disrespect to anybody involved in any of these debates. As I said a multitude of times, I think both parties are very smart. And I've got nothing personal against the Conservative Party in any way, shape, or form. But when somebody comes onto the internet and acts like they know what they're talking about by just talking quickly, yeah, I can't rock with that, bro. Learn the difference between confidence and cockiness. The difference between knowing what you're talking about and just blurting out a bunch of information that may not be related to a question. I know that was quite the mouthful, but that's just my whole take on that situation.